after. My name is Diana Fisher, and I am the System Dynamics Society VP of Pre-College Education. We have quite a full SIG meeting today. We're going to have 3 presentations, and so we will not have a lot of time for discussion. I would like to get started. The plenary is going late, and so many of our in-person participants will be coming late to the room, but because we have such a full schedule, I do want to start. Senna will be talking about our goals that we showed last year. She will show the diagram for the goals and also how to make suggestions for new goals, how to access that site, and a little bit about what we have been working on this past year. Ulkum will talk about 3 different ways you can interact with our particular SIG, and we invite you to join at a level that is comfortable for you. And then Gaye is a professor in Turkey, and she has 3 students who will present early research, and they would eventually like to have some feedback on that. They will present some early research on systems thinking in a K-12 environment. So I would like to turn it over to Senna right now. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Diane. So I will share my screen now.
Yeah.
Okay. So hello, everyone. I will quickly talk about our goals and the activities that we have done so far in this year. Last year, in this annual meeting, we presented our goals together with the key results and the tasks. This is available on a Miro board that we already shared in our website, but also I will share the link after the talk that we will be giving, so that you can go there and look closely all the things that we presented here today. And in the Miro board, you will also see that there is a part that you can also contribute, which is, I will mention all of the goals and the activities that we have done, and you can also suggest new goals or some new tasks that can be attached already to the goals that we have at the moment. So if we look at it closely, basically we have 5 main goals that we also call them as projects, which are increasing audience, providing webinars, training, assessment and evaluation, and also systems thinking, system dynamics infusion strategy. So I will shortly talk about what we have done so far about these goals. So increasing the audience was mostly, we were aiming for increasing the number of special interest group meetings and including the presentations in there and discuss about those ideas afterwards in the meetings. And so far in 2023, we have accomplished doing 3 special interest group meetings. And there you see that the topics are included here. And also these were the topics that we have done on the early years. In addition to those meetings, we were planning to provide some webinars to talk more on a specific projects that are done, and to share it with the teachers, also with the professionals interested in the systems thinking. You see here the previous webinars, and the last 3 is from this year that we have done so far. And in terms of teacher training, we started a mentorship program. It is on the piloting phase at the moment. So we are trying some procedures, and we are trying to establish those procedures, and then we will try to provide it to more audience. This is one thing. And the second thing is, I think this is really exciting. we were always talking about the Turkish implementer workshop and translating them to English, and it is almost done with great effort of Emre Göktepe. And also there was the book, Systems Thinking in Education. It was also in Turkish, and now it is also translated into English. And these two are really great resources for teachers to start learning about it and thinking about how to implement it into their classrooms. And in the assessment and evaluation, we were aiming for creating a pool of questions related to systems thinking. And at the moment, we have 240 questions. And we are reviewing all of them together with the leadership team in the pre-college special interest group. And what we are aiming is for this year is getting feedback, reviewing it, updating it before piloting. And then for the next year, we are aiming for doing a pilot application for all of the questions, and again, reviewing. And in the end, our big aim is publishing those questions, because it is also important to measure when there is a research going on in the systems thinking in education field. Lastly, this is the big topic, infusion strategy. So it already includes the parts that we have done before, including webinars, teacher training, and all those assessment questions. But here I also wanted to explain some of the resources. So systems in our body and environmental education resources were available in Turkish. So now they translated again to English, and they are available on the website. And now there is a big work going on in the part of economics modeling. So there were a roundtable organized for this one, and also a special interest group meeting organized for that, to collect some ideas how to introduce the concept in economics, starting from the kindergarten going to the high school level. So at the moment, different models are recreated, and then some discussions have been going on how to create simple but at the same time working models for students to understand. So at the moment, this is going on. And here. So lastly, there was one publication together with Diane and also the group in Turkey in Frontiers in Education, with the title Systems Thinking Activities Using K-12 for Up to 2 Decades. So it was a really nice article that summarizes what has been done so far in primary school, middle school, and high school level, and in different subjects. So now I will give the microphone to Ülkem to continue with explaining the organization part.
Okay, thank you, Sena. Can you please change the slides for me? Okay. Yeah. I have a few slides for the introduction of our systems, special interest group leadership team. For the moment, there are 9 members in our leadership team. Of course, there is no restriction on the number of members in this group. As far as you can see, except Diana Fisher, all members are from one country's organization, which is Turkey. And we believe that the participation of new members from different countries will enrich the organization. We can change. As the leadership team, can you change, Sena, the slide? We meet every Thursday. The meeting time is arranged according to the availability of the members and their respective time zones. When new members join, the scheduling will also consider their availability accordingly. We meet frequently, but our meetings are short actually. We meet 30 minutes every week. And as you can see on the right side of the slide, we usually have a long agenda. However, our goal is not necessarily to complete the entire agenda. We proceed as far as time allows. For the agenda, any team member can always suggest an agenda item, and decisions are reached by consensus among the attending members in the meeting. We can change. Since we started working together, not every member has been able to attend every meeting. So taking this into consideration, we have planned new roles with our potential new members. Here are the new roles. The first one is special interest group supporter, who does not receive weekly agenda, does not participate in weekly meetings, but only completes tasks that she or he has volunteered to do. The second role is SIG member. Unlike the supporter, member receives a weekly agenda, but don't participate in weekly meetings, and completes tasks that she or he has volunteered to do. And lastly, leadership team member. This member receives weekly agenda, participates in weekly meetings, sets, discusses, and decides agenda items, and again, completes tasks. If you would like to apply for any of the positions, please contact us using this email standing in the slides. And lastly, we can change the slide. All our work is documented on our website. We frequently update the website, so we recommend checking it frequently. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I think it's my turn right now. I'm Gaye Ceyhan from Boğaziçi University. I'm in the Department of Math and Science Education. So after this part of the meeting, we are going to have 3 presentations from 2 master's students and 1 PhD student. They are work in progress presentations. They are going to give 5 minutes presentation each. And then if we have time, we are going to have question and answer part at the end. So we are going to start with Melike Hanedar. She is a master's student at Boğaziçi University. You can share your screen, Melike.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to share my screen. Hello again. Today I will present my thesis that I still working on it, which is titled Exploring the Representation of the Systems Thinking in the Turkish Middle School Science Curriculum and Textbooks. And my advisor is Dr. Gaye Defne Ceyhan. And as you know, in the rapidly changing world, complex issues like environmental problems, education challenges, or political issues are interconnected and dynamic. And the systems thinking approach offers a comprehensive framework for effective problem solving and understanding complex processes and their relationships. And it is also vital for science education, as systems thinking promotes interdisciplinary thinking, holistic understanding, and address socio-scientific dilemmas. However, according to existing literature, both students and science teachers often lack understanding and integrating of systems thinking. To bridge this gap, systems thinking should be integrated in the education and curricula, particularly in science textbooks, which are essential resources for both teachers and students. And this integration is crucial for preparing students to an increasingly complex world. Therefore, this study aims to examine how systems thinking addressed in the Turkish middle school science curriculum and represented in 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade science textbooks. And the research questions are: how does the Turkish middle school science curriculum address the systems thinking approach? And how is the systems thinking approach represented in 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade science textbooks? And in the context of significance of the study, as I stated before, the complexity of the world requires a holistic view for effective problem solving. And the systems thinking approach offers a way to make complexity manageable and concrete, and it fosters deep understanding and integration of information, and making it crucial not only in education, but also in our daily lives. And in science education, systems thinking enhance creativity, critical thinking, and sustainable solution development. However, there is a lack of understanding and integrating of systems thinking among students and teachers. So this study aims to examine how systems thinking is represented in the science curriculum and textbooks, and by providing insights for policymakers, stakeholders, and curriculum developers. Additionally, a rubric will be developed for the analysis, which will be benefit for the authors and publishers. And the qualitative content analysis method will be chosen to analyze the science curriculum and textbooks. First data source is the currently implemented Turkish middle school science curriculum, and the second data source is the science textbooks of 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grades. And both data sources will be selected with a purposive sampling method. And the science curriculum will be analyzed as a whole, since its content is relatively small, while science textbooks will be divided into coding units due to their larger content. The coding unit for science textbooks was determined as a unit, so the analysis will be based on units and unit subheadings. And the analytical framework will be based on Arnold and Wade systemagram, which includes 8 components of the system thinking characteristics and skills. And a rubric will be developed according to Arnold and Wade systemagram. The rubric will be associated with the systemagram and system thinking tools like behavior over time graph, stock flow diagram, and causal loops. Currently, rubric development has been initiated with the human body system units, and expert opinion and feedback were received through regular meetings once a week. And actually, I would like to give a more explanation about the rubric development. And first, it was created from 0 to 3 according to components of the Arnold and Wade systemagram. Then I thought that the verbs in the model indicate actually skills, so it wouldn't be able to reflect the systems thinking in the curriculum and textbooks properly. And in the second attempt, system thinking tools were included in the rubric based on the expert opinion, because the tools are used to reveal system thinking's dynamic. So in its final form, there are 4 scoring criteria in the form of 0 to 3 for each of the 8 components of the Arnold and Wade systemagram. So 0 point express the unit or topic are not applicable for the systems thinking. And 1 point express systems thinking tools can be used but not used, nor is any tool are used instead. And 2 point express systems thinking use can be used but not used. Instead, other tools like visual, graphics, observation, or tables are used. And 3 point express the systems thinking tools are used. So for the curriculum, the rubric will assess how well the 8 components of Arnold and Wade systemagram align with the curriculum objectives and aims. And for textbooks, the analysis will be based on systems thinking tools used. And after the analysis, actually suggestions will be given on how to explain this unit with systems thinking tools for each unit in the middle school science curriculum. And thank you for listening and giving me an opportunity to present my study. And I would like to get your feedback on the applicability of the rubric. Thank you.
Thank you, Melike, for your nice and brief presentation. I know it's not that easy to present your thesis, even though it is work in progress in 5 minutes, but you did a good job. Thank you. Now we are going to continue with Ülkü Seher Budak. She's a master's student as well.
Hi everyone, welcome to my presentation. My research title is Research Trends on STEM Thinking Approach in Science Education, and we carried out this study with my thesis advisor, Gaye Defne Ceyhan. And we sent the research to International Journal of Science Education, and we take the minor revision and we send it again. We awaiting for the process to be completed. And this is the my outline. And students able to make connection between the parts should be developed to understand and contextualize in the science education is important, and therefore we thought that this study contributes to the literature by revealing how research studies address thinking in science education to paint a picture of the existing studies, and we recommended the future research and practices. And our research purpose is to examine how systems thinking approach in science education is positioned in empirical research articles indexed in the Web of Science database from the first mention of the system thinking through to the end of the 2022, and to reveal the trends using in the literature. Our research question was how would the research studies address systems thinking in science education? And our data collection is carried out in the 3 steps. And in the first one, we determine the inclusion and exclusion criteria. Secondly, we determine the keyword, and we generate the thematic categories. In the data collection, we determine the keyword systems thinking and science education, and also system thinking and science education. We also filtered the article limited to second search to open access and English, and also we exclude the articles who didn't first-hand empirical resource. And we also made the screening, and at the end of this process, 28 article is included for the study, and our data analysis take place in 3 steps. In the study, we use the content analysis, and we determine the pattern of concepts, and also we calculate the concept frequency. And this is, we have several findings, and as you see in the figure, and the systems thinking article is recent, has been published, increased in the recent years. And in terms of countries of origin, the most studies were conducted in US, and secondly Germany, and the most heavily US and Germany, and these are in Turkey, and this is so limited. And in terms of participant characteristic, as you see, undergraduate students, middle school students, and high school students were mostly included in the studies. And in terms of areas of the study, biology education, science education, and environmental education were mostly study groups in the articles. And which, in terms of system thinking skills, we revealed that identifying system organization and identifying dynamic relationship between the system components were addressed mostly in the articles. And in terms of system thinking characteristic, these are our findings, and there is a generally complexity, relationship, interaction, component, interrelationship, and were mostly addressed in the articles. There is a few characteristics, a hidden dimension and drawing general conclusion were less mentioned in the articles. And according to our discussion and conclusion part, we reviewed the elementary school students fail to grasp feedback thinking skills. We suggest that it is established the learning objective should be included in the curricula in different grade level and different subject. And also we determined the certain system properties were highly neglected in this research. We suggest that these neglected system properties should be taught at again the different grade level and different subject. And we also determined the ambiguity of the systems thinking characteristics, skills, and abilities in the literature. We recommend that the future research could be conducted to address this ambiguity, because in the beginning research to improve our understanding and to remove the complexity. And also the teachers and elementary schools students have only participated in one study. We found that, and we suggest the literature should be strength conducting the empirical study with this group, because the literature states that the beginning early years studies is important for the teaching systems thinking. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your chance to me.
Thank you, Seher, for this brief presentation. For the sake of time, I'm not going to take so much time, and I'm going to leave the floor to SIG. She's a PhD student in Middle East Technical University.
Hello, everyone. As Gaye Hocam said, I am a PhD student in the Department of Early Childhood, Elementary and Early Childhood Education in Middle East Technical University. And the name of my research, my thesis study, is investigating 60 to 72 months of preschooler systems thinking skills during an intervention program in Turkey. Before starting my presentation, actually, I would like to send my special thanks to Emre Göktepe, because he made so much valuable contributions to this study. As a statement of the problem, as Homo sapiens, actually, we are just one of the living beings living on the earth. And we are sharing our planet with so many different living beings as well. But we are likely to disrupt and destroy our planet. And we are dominating the planet with, unfortunately, our behaviors, our actions. Because of that, we are facing so many wicked problems today, and the waste problem is one of these problems, actually. And you can see some statistics in here. Because of the limited time, I will not touch on all the statistics, but I can say that studies indicate that plastic particles, for example, pose a threat to functioning of ecosystems, and they are existing the soil we touch and the air we breathe in plants and also in animal organisms.
Okay, I was going to say that we only see the first slide, but you are moving. Okay, if you can share the screen, if you can make it full screen, I think it's going to be better for us.
Yeah, I will do it, but I missed the presentation.
Sorry to interrupt.
I think it's here, yeah.
Yes. Great, thank you.
You are welcome. Systems thinking can help us to see and understand the relationships and analyze complex systems, and also consider the ways systems are interacting with subsystems and other elements within the system. And in the literature, there are so many evidence related to the capability of elementary school students and also preschool children's basic systems thinking skills. For example, these studies focus on the fact that young children, even young children, can show some systems thinking skills, such as recognizing the interactions among the elements within a system, identifying hidden dimensions of a system, also identifying apparent gradual changes and realizing some basic causalities, and exploring behavior of a balancing loops. And here is the significance of the study. There are unfortunately limited number of empirical attempts to integrate systems thinking into education. And there are some discussions in the literature about whether young learners are capable of learning systems thinking or not, because even university students have some problems in using systems thinking in their educational experiences. And young children can demonstrate at least some level of systems thinking that some research says. And this study also includes project-based learning experiences and cognitively challenging questions, whole school approach, and 3 systems thinking tools, which have been regarded as the most appropriate ones for young learners, such as behavior over time graphs, feedback or causal loop diagrams, and stock flow diagrams. And all these significance ingredients have been determined considering the existing literature and the recommendations in it. The specific aim of this study is to investigate the effect of a systems thinking teaching module on preschoolers' systems thinking skills. There are some details about the design of the study here. It is an experimental study, and there will be only one group of students, children in the study. You can also see the research questions here. For example, what are the systems thinking skills of preschoolers at a public preschool in Ankara before the intervention? How are systems thinking aspects practiced in the educational context? What are the preschool teachers' perception of waste and waste management affordances indoor and outdoor of the preschool? And is there any effect of the systems thinking teaching module on the systems thinking skills of preschoolers at a public preschool in Ankara? About the population and sampling issues, there will be almost 25 students, preschoolers, 1 preschool teacher, and 1 school administrator will participate in the study. And there are some instrumentation tools, instruments, which will be used in the study. For example, systems drawings with interviews and systems thinking skills rubric for children are important parts of this study because they will be used for both pre-test and post-test. And they will be adapted considering a previous study. Also, there will be a checklist in the study to assess the internal and external environment of preschools, actually 1 preschool. And also an ESD walk and talk interview will be made in the current study to understand how preschool teachers perceive the indoor and outdoor learning environment in the preschool to promote children's learning about waste management. These are the details of data collection procedure. And now I want to talk about the systems thinking teaching module. The module will include 16 integrated activities about waste and waste management. It will be implemented twice a week within 8 consecutive weeks. And also it will include 3 systems thinking tools into the activities that I mentioned before. And also it will be prepared considering the Turkish early child education curriculum and UNESCO's some objectives related to EST, Education for Sustainable Development. For the intervention, Emre Göktepe and me, we prepared a conceptual framework, and also the framework takes its roots from the Barry Commoner's 4 laws of ecology. And these laws are everything is connected to everything. Everything has to go somewhere. Nature knows the best. There is no such thing as a free lunch. So based on these laws, actually these are also closely related to systems thinking principles. And we prepared a conceptual framework. I know it seems a bit complicated, but I will just briefly explain it. It covers 5 parts, and the first part can be seen with the blue circle. In this part, this is the starting point of the intervention. There is one stock there, and here we are focusing on our common world and the natural resources we are collectively using and sharing with other living beings. And in the second part, in the left side, this focuses on the circularity of nature. And also we can say that how nature works will be mentioned here. There are specific terms such as natural resources, natural waste, and compost as a nature's way to recycle. They will be mentioned here. And we can also say that this is a kind of desired outcome for this study. For the third part, in the third part, it is a linear process, and it mainly focuses on human-nature interaction. And here we are focusing on the use of natural resources for several purposes and disposal of natural resources, which consequently pollutes natural resources because there is no management here. And we can say that this is a kind of today's problem, and it is similar with linear economy. In the fourth part, which is shown by the purple circle, it focuses on management of plastic waste. And there are some ways to manage these wastes, like refusing, reducing, reusing, and recycling. And the last part, which is indicated with the red circle, it focuses on the management of food waste. And it covers some waste management strategies like refusing, reducing, reusing, and composting. And these last 2 items are related to this solution. There are some details about validity issues. Here you can see my research questions, details about participants, instruments, and analysis methods.
Sorry to interrupt, but last minute, please.
Yeah, okay. These are my questions that I'm wondering your ideas actually. These are what could be the suggested time period which is necessary for introducing and practicing systems thinking tools with preschoolers before the intervention part. And secondly, for each activity, we decided several specific learning outcomes. Could you suggest any resource which combines the revised Bloom's taxonomy and solo taxonomy to create learning objectives, or any other ideas do you have? Thirdly, considering the lack of data collection tools for measuring systems thinking in education, especially with preschoolers, what could be the suggested ways of data collection expect from those highlighted in the study? I mean, the drawing part and using a rubric to assess these drawings. Fourthly, what would happen if the implementation is conducted 3 times a week for 6 consecutive weeks instead of twice a week for 8 consecutive weeks? I asked this question in terms of the validity issues. And lastly, could it be possible to change the design of the study from experimental to, for example, a cross-cultural case study? Because I'm currently living in Sweden, and I thought that I may change the study as a kind of cross-cultural study. If I could build a connection with a university professor in Sweden, is there a suggested name in this respect? Thank you for listening. That's all from me.
Thank you, Ezgi.
Yes,
as this is a PhD study, it took longer than the previous presentations. If you could stop sharing your screen, we can see each other, and we have, let me see, 3 more minutes for question and answer part. Is there any question, suggestion to our work in progress presentations? All right.
I was going to say children like to play. How can you make this more playful?
Did you hear the question?
Not really clearly.
Wayne said, children like to play. How can you make this more playful?
Okay, I guess this question is for you, Ezgi.
Yeah. We are trying to make play at the center of each activities, and that's why we are designing some activities which are closely related to play and which is actually flow play. We are using games in that respect.
Anyone else? It does not seem like we have any questions in the chat. So I think, thank you very much, our 3 student presenters. We welcome the work that you are doing. It's really important for the world as well as for our community. We want more people to work with us. We feel that we would like to expand the cultural input from other countries. If you want to join the leadership team, let us know. If you want to just be a member and have a lesser responsibility, but still work with us, we really would like to have that happen. What they have done and accomplished in Turkey is amazing, and they are willing to share it with us, but we need more voices, and we want you to work with us to help make this a more global effort. So we've given you a summary. I know that does not leave us much time at all for conversation, but we do have open conversation SIG meetings every other month, and you are always welcome to communicate with us, and we will get you involved if you just let us know that you're interested. Yes, Kim.
So with respect to the last speaker, I would be interested in her question about assessment items for system thinking. I would be interested in sharing thoughts with her on a scoring rubric for causal loop diagrams, and with anybody else who's possibly considering using causal loop diagrams as a assessment. So what would be a scoring rubric that could be agreed upon across the community for causal loop diagrams? And you'll probably have to repeat.
So Kim would like the 3rd speaker. She would really like to connect with the 3rd speaker to find out what she is doing about assessment with causal loop diagrams. She is especially interested, Kim, is in causal loop diagrams. So is there a way for the 2 of you to connect and discuss assessment? Could you put perhaps your email in the chat? Okay. And then you can definitely have that communication. I think they're going to cut us off here, even though they told us they were going to give us until 50 minutes after. I think they're going to cut us off pretty soon. So if you put that in the chat and perhaps a conversation can happen. Oh, it's in the chat.
Yeah, but we can't read it.
Oh, yeah. It is. Okay. Let me see if I can show. I will show the chat.
Click the chat.
Yeah, show the chat. There it is. There's her email, and it's ezgi.senyurt3@gmail.com. I'm sorry we have not had a chance for conversation, but we wanted to bring you up to date on what we were doing and to show you that this is a truly systemic problem to infect K-12 education. And in Turkey, they're working with students, with teachers, with administrators, and with university people, all those levels at the same time to try to push this forward. Please communicate with us if you are interested in working with us at all.
Very impressive.